What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another voiceover. We're getting a round in with Skyler here. He starts off in guard. He goes for an arm drag early on. I hop my hips to the opposite side he's trying to drag me to get cross-side. He gets a good half guard. I stuff his foot here so he can't pommel it over the top. And I start looking for inside elbow position. My hips are high so he can't make good connections to me with his legs. And here, when I get my inside elbow position, I notice he's crunched up. So if I stuff his head, he can't follow me when I cut. So I start going around north-south to get away from the legs. He turtles, so I go to the back. I throw in a far side hook here, which I usually don't do, but because my hips are kind of square behind him, I feel pretty comfortable. Here, I peel his face and rip him back. Don't forget, guys, Jiu Jitsu is a brutal art. It was made for killing, so let's not take the brutality out of Jiu Jitsu. To be honest, Skyler is one of the hardest people to choke with a rear choke that I've ever dealt with. I can get a full rear choke on him and he can hold out for minutes. It's kind of crazy, but I'm playing a straitjacket system here because I still finish him often enough with the rear choke, so I'm looking for it. Here I get him in the straitjacket with the one-on-one, and I'm doing a chloroform here where I'm covering up his mouth and nose, and it's affecting his breathing. And even though you have time here, it puts the parasympathetic part of your mind, fight or flight, going, and it makes people panic. You can see in his eyes there he's not happy with it. So he's trying to free his left hand, and I usually use it to slam my choke in right there. I knock his mouthpiece out, so I give him a second to throw the mouthpiece back in. But he's talking some mess here. That's what he does. Super fun. So I'm just playing my back attacks, looking for the straitjackets, looking for the openings. He gets me flat here and goes over the top of me so he can start working himself high. So I'm going to start trying to push him down so I can keep my back control. There he goes, nice and low. I get right on his jaw and give him a good squeeze because why not? I know the camera seems like a little weird here. My buddy recorded it vertical instead of horizontal, so I had to crop it, which gives us this look. Here I go throwing in my body triangle, but honestly, I have messed up knees and ankles, so body triangles are dangerous for me if people start getting squirrely. So usually I relinquish it for this position that I call the hip clamp. This is one of my favorite back control configurations of the legs. It gives me really, really good control over their rotation. Here he starts beating the bottom hook. So I kind of have a quasi body triangle where my heel is touching my knee. And then I come up and throw in my right hook again. He pops both hooks out. So I'm playing kind of this knee on back, almost like a rest position. And I decided to go for the armbar here. Quarter armbar, which isn't my favorite. And the way he's turned away from me is not really giving me a great angle. He turns in, so I'm able to get kind of this almost reverse triangle position. But what I'm doing is pulling his elbow way up and out of position. Skyler also has some of the most flexible shoulders of any human alive. Most people would have tapped there. Now that he came up on top and his hands are still connected, the triangle isn't like a robust strangle. So I'm just trying to get my angle. I need to turn to my left a little more. I'd like to get my hip down. But because he's making good angles and he's stepping over my feet here, I switch my thought to armbar. His head's still underneath my hips, and I need his head to pop out, but I want to put my right shin on the back of his head. I don't really like where it's at, so I just decide to step back into back control. Usually armbars, belly down armbars, will always offer you back control if you step that head side leg back over. So I'm just keeping my dominant positions here. He's beating the bottom hook, but I have that one-on-one, so he can't really turn too well. I start kind of attacking the strangle again, and I get his focus on that. And here he's going to start getting his back to the mat, so I decide to take top position and keep pressure on him here. I push his knee here in a second, or I block his knee here with my hips. I start pushing the foot across so I don't let his legs back into the fight. Again, sorry about the camera angle here. I had to crop out so much of it just to get the video going. So I split his hands, and this armbar attack coming up, I've never really done a motion like this. So usually I find that it's not super successful. I usually go for the far arm crush here, but I get his elbow in front of my hip. I throw my right leg over his head, and I kind of threaten this almost fake armbar. And then I pop my hips up and throw my knee across his belly for a quarter armbar. Usually I don't find success here. And now you see how high my left knee is up in his shoulder and neck area? That's so important for the quarter armbar. And I decided to put some heat on this. I feel like I can separate his hands. Boom, there it is. And because my left knee was so high, he wasn't able to hit his hitchhikers or any of his funny motions. And I was able to finish that armbar. He starts on top here. He goes right into a top side, basically half guard butterfly position for him. He does a little hip switch and gets the pass. A lot of times I like to work out of bad positions, especially with my students that like to attack. Skyler loves to attack, and he's really brutal and mean on top. So I like to put myself in these positions and work out. So here I'm turning towards him. I'm going to start recovering my legs. See how I lifted his foot there with my right hand. I get back to my half, and he starts going for a far side arm crush. So I just do a little hip switch knee lever, start tipping him over, go out the back door. He was going for my legs there, so I had to free up my legs. Here I go for a knee cut pass here in a second, straight to mount. I look for my arm bar here at the very end, and the round's going to come to an end right about here. It's a great round, super fun. Love it. He's always a fighter. So if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to see anything in the future, just throw it down in the comments. And thanks for stopping by and watching. Os.